Hello, 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 yo! I'm back with another video, if anyone cares, but yeah, we're gonna look at this report of Mr. Pooh Shiesty, and we're gonna we'll probably dig into what this guy's about, because I feel like a lot of this is his fault, but a lot of it isn't his fault. Well, I'll get into it later on.
Assistant Special Agent in charge of FBI Dallas. And we will have a brief question and answer session after their remarks. Please identify yourself by your name and your media outlet when asking questions, and confine the content of your questions to today's press conference. At the podium, joining Ryan Raybould and Jeremy Wright is Executive Assistant Chief of Police with the Dallas Police Department, Terrence Rhodes, Assistant U.S. Attorney Robert Withers, Assistant U.S. Attorney.
Let's skip over this.
I'm Ryan Raybould. I'm the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas. Thank you for coming. This week, 9 individuals, including well-known musical artists, kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint numerous victims at a music studio in Dallas, Texas. 8 of the 9 were arrested yesterday in Dallas, Memphis, and Nashville. These individuals who are charged and arrested include Lontrell Williams Jr., also known as Pooh Shiesty, Lontrell Williams Sr., Rodney Wright Jr., also known as Big 30, Kadarius Waters, Demarion Gibson, DeMarcus Glover, Corday Johnson, Darian McDaniel, and Terrence Rogers has not been arrested yet, but will be soon.
I'm going to put my thoughts on this. I just can't believe what is going on. It's very, very... the state of hip-hop right now is depressing. The old school rappers from the 90s, they're doing okay. It's this new generation that are just messing everything up. I'm going to tell you this. It's this new generation, because of social media. The thing about social media, it's fairly new. And they don't know how to navigate social media as a system. So a lot of their crimes, because this is how hip hop works. Kind of like make yourself look richer than you are. So some of these guys are in debt to the label, but they don't want you to know that. They want to floss on you and make you think that they're rich. But it's a label advance, and they're in debt. But they don't want you to know that. But they're using social media to floss. Problem for social media, people, it's in the moment, so people don't think what they're posting. They on their phone, they're bored, they be like, I'll take a picture of some money, I floss some money. That's how they got Pooh Shiesty the first time, with the $100 bill and the serial number. If you ever remember that, a couple years back, that's how they got him, from an Instagram post. Just remember that. Now he's robbing Gucci Man.
The complaint alleges that on January 10th of this year,
You think he'll learn his
3
lesson?
music industry professionals traveled to Dallas for a scheduled business meeting. Lontrell Williams Jr. arranged this meeting purportedly to discuss the terms of his recording contract with one of the victims.
Here's the problem as well. If you're a rapper, never get signed to another rapper. I've seen it time and time again. It never ends well. Because they're going to do you real dirty. They're going to do you more dirty than the labels will do you. Because they know the inside out how they got done dirty. So they're going to do you twice as dirty as the labels. Never sign to a rapper. That's the number 1 rule. You see a rapper doing well and you go like, damn, that's Gucci Man. He's got his label and everything. I want to be signed with that dude, man. No. Never sign with a rapper. Never.
As alleged, once these 3 men were inside the recording studio, Williams Jr. and 8 co-conspirators, several of whom traveled from Memphis, Tennessee, executed a coordinated armed takeover. As alleged, Williams Jr. produced an AK-style pistol and forced one of the victims to sign a release from the recording contract at gunpoint. The remaining...
Sign this. Sign it now. Man, you signing something under duress? God, I mean, I don't even know what type of gangster movie they've been watching. But I guess it might have worked with somebody. Someone might have gone out their contract. But I know most people who were in contracts with labels, they had to buy their way out. That's like a. It's sad that contracts are they're binding. You know, it's like you're signing with the devil. And yeah, man, it's one of those things like. That's it. He signed his life away. People are young when they're signing these contracts. They don't think what they're signing. All they see is money signs. I've been hearing that he was generating at least maybe 25 million. I don't know how much of that is true. I don't know how you can generate so much money being locked up just from streams. Because if you're locked up, you ain't performing, right? So I'm talking, and the stream money isn't all that. So. According to people, they said that Gucci Mane had generated 25 million off of Pooh Shiesty. Someone in the comments explained to me how it works. I don't understand music stuff. I know I'm talking about music artists, but I would hope that unless he's selling Pooh Shiesty merchandise and all sorts, I don't know. Maybe he's selling Pooh Shiesty masks. I mean, that he should have capitalized on that one, man.
Conspirators displayed firearms and robbed the other victims of Rolex watches, jewelry.
This is the dumb part as well. Imagine this, yeah. You run out your contract, but then also you're sitting down there like, we out the contract now. You signed it. Let's rob these dudes as well. It's like you went there to get out the contract. Why are you robbing these people on top of it?
Jewelry, cash, and other high-value items. One of the victims.
You know these guys are poor, right? When you go there to get out of your contract and you're a rapper, and then you're robbing people, you got hip hop money, man. Why are you robbing people?
Victims was actually choked by one of the defendants to the point of near unconsciousness. Defendant Wright barricaded the studio door with his body to prevent the victims from escaping. The ringleader of the conspiracy, Lontrell Williams Jr., was on home confinement at the time of the offense, as alleged for a prior firearms conspiracy charge and conviction out of the Southern District of Florida.
You would think, yeah, you just come out of prison a couple months ago. You want to lay low and not want to go back in there. I remember Gucci Mane. He went in prison. He came out. He slimmed down. He changed his life around. He didn't want to go back in there at all. This is what I thought Pooh Shiesty's mindset would have been like. I don't want to go back in there. He must love it in there.
Towards the end of his prison sentence, he had been granted home detention. Part of the terms of his home detention were that he would not commit another federal offense or possess a firearm. His father, Lontrell Williams Sr., is alleged to have helped plan and execute the federal kidnapping.
His dad, his own father. When he sat down there in the room with his father, like, man, we need to get this money. Now Gucci Mane, he owes us 25 million. How are we gonna stick him up? They're like, yeah, let's go stick him up. We're gonna hold a gun to his head and we're gonna say him, yo, sign this contract or we're gonna shoot you in the head. Like, really, come on, like, let's be all seriously. They're gonna kill Gucci Mane because he didn't sign a contract. They haven't even thought this through. It sounds so stupid.
As charged in the complaint, and as described further in the complaint, within hours of leaving the Dallas studio, a number of the defendants were on social media displaying some of the items that appeared to be the jewelry.
I told you about this social media. These guys do not know how to adapt to the social media trend. They're so dumb, yeah, that after you rob these people, they thought it was a good idea to go and floss on social media and what they robbed them of. This new generation are stupid. That's how they end up getting locked up and killed. And social media is a blessing and a curse because you can use it to promote your music, promote your business. But when you're doing bad, social media can track you down, because you're posting from a phone that's tracked, right? You post from an account that's tracked. We all know now that Instagram messages are not going to be encrypted anymore, end to end. So you're out there in the wilderness, and they can find you. You think you're hiding? You're never going to be hiding when you have social media. You're never going to be hiding. But half of these dudes, they don't even make it hard for the police. These guys are snitching on themselves.
That had been robbed from the victims. The charging document outlines some of the evidence, just some, establishing the defendant's roles in the federal offense.
Okay, I had enough of this guy, because this is making me laugh. I'm literally having a field day how stupid these guys are. Because I sat down and I was like, is it Mr. Pooh Shiesty's fault? You know, is it his fault? Is it his fault? Is he just dumb? But when I looked at Gucci Man, his label, I remember like, Gucci Man, something about him that doesn't settle me right. And I realized, I remember seeing an article about Gucci Man. Is Gucci Man's 1017 record label cursed? And the reason why I read this, because that came to my mind, is like, I remember that everybody on his label had gone to prison or end up dead. So is Gucci Man the devil himself? That's the real question. You know, you sign with him, you sign your soul away. And then what happens? You end up dead, and he gets all your royalty money. Some people on the internet are convinced that Gucci Man's 1017 record label is cursed after news emerged that an Atlanta rapper died. The 7th artist signed with him to suffer a tragedy. That's the 7th? Well, we're on the 8th now, man. You know, got Pooh Shiesty up there, he's going right back to prison. It was revealed that a young musician known as Enchanting has passed away on Tuesday after an overdose reportedly left her on life support. I don't know, maybe this is weird, like crazy. It's Gucci Man's old, man. You can put little devil horns on this dude right there. Had the little redness glow up his glasses. I don't know, man. Let's see what else we got reading in here. He was ultimately seen 1 month later. Hot Boy West was arrested for numerous charges, including aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, robbery, and endangerment to children. He was ultimately sentenced to 15 years in prison after pleading guilty. Rapper Pooh Shiesty has also racked up a criminal record since signing to 1017 Records. He was arrested in June 2020 for armed robbery, aggravated assault, battery, and criminal theft. And then in June 2021, he was taken into custody again in connection to a shooting at a strip club in Miami. Man, that guy's racking up the charges, man. And he's got that was 2020 and 2021. We're 2026, so he comes out of prison. He does more stupidness. He pleaded guilty to a firearms conspiracy charge and was sentenced to 5 years behind bars. And he's out now, and he's going back in. Fujiano, who was served 3 years in jail for burglary and robbery charges before he was joined in 2017, was arrested for possession of a firearm, convicted felon, December 2020, and he received 5 years sentence. Let's have a look. Amid the news that the Enchanting had died, X, formerly Twitter, was flooded with posts. Okay, let's see who's this guy. That's Hot Boy. Okay, it's Pooh Shiesty. Who's this guy? Fujiano, who served 3 years in jail for burglary. It's kind of crazy. You gotta wonder, like, are these people actually? Is hip hop as the facade, the mirage of hip hop being broken? Because when I was younger, I thought these rappers were making money. I thought, yeah, man, the money, the cars. It was all a facade for years, and we were played into it. Like, you saw MTV Cribs, and you realize that a lot of the people's cribs weren't their own, but they played up to it. Like, think about something like Yin Yang Twins. They showed their crib, and it was like a rented place. They didn't even know what they were describing. 50 Cent was one of the people as well. I think some of the cars there were leased on MTV Cribs. A couple of other artists said that they were faking their houses or mansions. I remember seeing this stuff. I was working my ass off to get what they had, you know, only to realize they never had it. You know, none of these young people, they look up to these artists, and all these guys got to their name is that chain around their neck. And I don't even think the chains are real. Cause I seen one rapper, he got robbed of his chain, and then he tried to the guy who robbed him tried to pawn it, and they said the whole chain's fake. only thing that was real was the bracelet around it. That was the only thing that was real gold. Everything else was fake. I was like, damn, not even these guys' chains are real. Yeah, man, you got this guy's going around doing robberies, and he's signed to a label. Then you know these guys are literally in debt, man. They got like some sort of 360 deal, and they're in debt. They're not making any money. They're slaves. Gucci Man 1070 label is cursed. If you look, as I said before, never sign to another rapper, man. Look at that, everyone's saying it here. Cursed. This was years ago. Pooh Shiesty comes out of prison and he's cursed again. He going right back in. Dang, man. You gotta wonder, man. You have to wonder. It reminds me of the same thing with Bad Boy Records. Like Black Rob, you see the videos and everything, you think, oh, this guy is doing well. You see him out on the street with a car, and then it turns out, yeah, towards the end of his career, he was facing homelessness. He couldn't pay for his medical. He had no medical insurance. He couldn't pay for his medical bills. He was on death's door. He ended up dying broke. You know. That's the reality of hip hop these days, man. Not many of these rappers are as rich as you think they are. That's the reality of it all. Cause they spend too much. They're spending more than they're bringing in. That's the problem. Anyway, like, subscribe, and I'm out.